Can you see what is on your screen at the moment? Mr. Steve is being very busy today. Look, there he is working away, working so hard. Even though the weather is not very good, Mr. Steve has decided to go outside, and there he is. Look at him. Wow, Mr. Steve, you seem so busy. We've never seen you do this before. I've never seen Mr. Steve do this on camera ever. So there he is, Mr. Steve, right now in the garden. And this is something he's been doing for the past few days. Steve has been working busily in the garden. And this morning, Steve was complaining. He says, "Why don't you film me when I'm in the garden?" And I thought, okay, I will do it today. So there is Mr. Steve working hard. That is Mr. Steve right now. So that is actually a live image of Mr. Steve working very hard in the garden right now. You can see that the weather is not too bad. However, it is very windy here today in England, unfortunately. So the weather is quite bad, to be honest with you. I hope you can see me all right and hear me on the live stream, because today we are having some problems with YouTube. Unfortunately, YouTube has decided to restrict my streaming. I don't know why, but for some reason I can't get a very good connection on YouTube. So I hope you can see me all right, and I hope you can hear me as well. But we can't see you, Mr. Duncan. Where are you? We can't see you at all. Okay, here I am right now. Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope you are feeling good today. I'm feeling all right, not too bad, even though I've had some problems with my connection. Now, it isn't my problem because my internet is working perfectly. However, for some reason, I don't know why, for some strange reason, I can't get a good connection on YouTube. It is, for some reason, restricting me from streaming. So I hope you can see me, and I hope you can hear me okay. So it looks as if we are all together again on the live stream. I will explain some things to you because, as you may have noticed, I am not outside. I'm actually in the house today because the weather is not very good. They have forecast some very heavy rain this afternoon, and also it is really windy outside as well. But there is a good side to all of this, because Mr. Steve is able to stay outside doing his work. And would you like to see him again? Okay, here he is. I have a feeling we will be watching a lot of Mr. Steve today. I think so. So there is Mr. Steve now in the garden. He is very busy today outside. I don't think I can remember the last time I ever saw Mr. Steve looking so busy in the garden. I really can't remember. So there he is right now. Hello, Mr. Steve. We are all watching you in the garden. However, Steve has no idea that we are actually spying on him right now. Oh, Mr. Steve. If only you knew that there are lots and lots of people watching you at the moment. But look how agile, look how fit Mr. Steve is. And can you see there, he is actually using the fork. He is actually using a fork. Wait a minute, Steve, are you digging up my daffodils? Can you see what's happening? Steve is actually digging up. He is removing the daffodils. I can't believe it. Come on, Steve. You can't take away my lovely daffodils. What are you doing? I might have to go outside and tell Mr. Steve. No, Mr. Steve, please don't take away my lovely daffodils. What are you doing? What are you doing, Steve? Why are you taking away my daffodils? Stop it. Leave my daffodils alone. I can't believe that he's doing that. I'm quite shocked, to be honest. Please don't take my daffodils away. The live chat is very busy. Thank you for joining me again. Yes, it is Friday. We have made it all the way to Friday once more, and it is the 4th week of lockdown here in the UK. It is now the 4th week that we've been locked down here in England. I'm sure many of you have been watching the news about what is happening around the world in various countries. Some countries are recovering from this strange situation. Other countries are not recovering, and that includes here in the UK. So things at the moment are still not good here in the UK. I hope you can see me and hear me today, because we are having a slight problem with the connection, and I think it might be YouTube. I don't know why I cannot get a good connection on the internet through YouTube. It's rather disappointing and slightly annoying at the same time. Hello also to, well, everyone on the live chat. Also Vitas. Hello Vitas. Guess what? You were first on the live chat. Yeah! Well done. We also have Christina, Martha, Belarusia is back. Hello Belarusia. Nice to see you as well here on the live stream. I hope you can see me clearly where you are, because at the moment I don't know why I'm having a slight problem connecting to YouTube. And I know a lot of people who are live streaming at the moment on YouTube are having difficulty doing it. I'm not sure why it is happening, but it is, and I don't know why. Hello Jamelia. Hello Mr. Duncan. I've been missing your live lessons and I've got so many things to catch up with, but I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much, Jamelia. Nice to see you here as well. Dorota is here. Also Noemi. Mika. Lolly. Nice to see you here as well. For those who don't know who I am, my name's Duncan. I teach English. And at the moment, I am appearing every day on YouTube. So I'm with you every day during this strange period of time. I will be with you every single day. Hak Lao is here. Unicorina as well. Marina, I am waiting for another funny lesson. Well, I'm not sure if it's going to be funny today. I have no idea if it will be funny. I will try my best. Talking of which, did you see me yesterday? I was being very greedy. I was trying to see how many snacks I could get into my mouth at the same time. Yes, I am in the house. I am not outside, unfortunately, because the weather is a little strange. We have a lot of wind, and they have forecast lots of rain as well during the day. What is Mr. Steve doing? Mr. Steve is digging in the garden. He is doing a lot of digging. So he is making some big changes in the garden. So that is what he's doing at the moment in the garden. Very busy working away. Hello also to Black Gatcha, Beatrice. Also we have Blanca. Hello Blanca. Nice to see you here as well. So I teach English on YouTube. I've been doing this for ever such a long time. A very long time indeed. Thank you for joining me today. It is Friday and I am here in the house and Mr. Steve is outside. Wow. Would you like to watch Mr. Steve working? I think it is quite mesmerising. I almost can't take my eyes off Mr. Steve as he works very hard. He's making me look very lazy, actually. if one of the things that Mr. Steve is doing at the moment, it is making me look slightly lazy. So thank you, Steve, for being busy and also making me look like a very lazy person. But I'm not normally. Anyway, I'm being very busy at the moment because I'm doing this. Come on, Mr. Steve, where are you? I don't know where he's gone. I think he's disappeared. So let's have a look at Mr. Steve earlier. So here is Steve earlier today. So this was recorded about an hour ago, and you can see Steve is looking very busy there. And he was complaining this morning. Steve says, you never, ever film me whilst I'm working in the garden. So I'm putting that right by showing him right now. Sorry about the problems with the connection. It is not my fault. Unfortunately, YouTube is doing something very strange. I don't know what, but I hope you can see me all right now. I hope you can see me right now. By the way, there are some subtitles, some captions on today's video. If you want to see the captions, all you have to do is press C on your keyboard and you will have captions. Ah, there he is. Mr. Steve, get on your hands and knees. I think Mr. Steve is a very practical man. I suppose he is sometimes. Steve can be very practical when he puts his mind to it. He can be quite a practical person. Okay, back to me. Hello to Francesca. Hello also Lil. Where did Mr. Steve take those daffodils? I don't know. I didn't know he was going to dig up my daffodils. Mr. Steve, why are you taking my daffodils away? I don't know what he's doing. I think maybe Steve has gone crazy. Maybe he is going to dig all of the flowers up in the garden. I don't know. I don't know what Steve is up to. Very strange. Hello, Hamid Raza. Mr. Steve, Mr. Duncan, please don't annoy Mr. Steve. He is one of the best friends in England. I will try not to annoy him, because if I pick on him too much, he might complain. Hello also to Lolly Lolly again. Hello also Christina. The daffodils have disappeared. Yes, Steve has taken the daffodils away. I don't know what he's doing out there. I might have to go outside and supervise him, because between you and me, I have no idea what Steve is doing. I really don't. Naruto is here. Hi, Mr. Duncan. Good to see you again. I hope you can see me all right, because for some strange reason today it seems very hard to actually watch me on YouTube. I think the connection has improved, so I think you can actually see me now. Okay. Oh, that's good. I have seen a video of you, Mr. Duncan, from 11 years ago. Well, I have been making my lessons here on YouTube for nearly 14 years. So yes, that might be the reason why. I started making my videos way back in 2006. Nice to see so many people here today again. Mizuki is here. Do you know me, Mr. Duncan? Today I am very happy because it's my birthday. Mizuki. Hello, Mizuki Sensei. Nice to see you here. And happy birthday for today. It's your birthday. Yes, today. It's your birthday. Hip hip. Hooray! So it's nice to see you here, and also happy birthday to you, Muziki. Hello also to Sujin. Will we be able to see the daffodils next year? I hope so. I don't know what Steve is doing with the daffodils. In fact, I think he might be behind me. I'm wondering if Steve is actually planting the daffodils behind me. Let's have a look, shall we? you might be able to see Steve in the garden, hopefully. There he is. Can you see him? He's moving around. So that's where he is at the moment. He's actually down at the bottom of the garden and he's busy digging. So maybe that is where he is putting the daffodils. Maybe that's where he's doing it. Ah, yes, I have a feeling that Steve might be putting the daffodils down there. So there is Steve working so hard. Mr. Steve, you are making me look so bad. You are making me look quite lazy because you are working very hard. Hello to Cecilia. Hi, Cecilia. Nice to see you here today. It is a windy day. It is cold and windy outside. So that's the reason why I've decided to stay in the house today. That's why I've decided to stay indoors. Tomorrow, it looks as if we are going to get lots of rain. So I might be in the house tomorrow as well. However, there is good news because Sunday, Monday, and the rest of next week apparently is going to be lovely. So apparently the weather next week is going to be very nice. Partridge Aves asks, Mr. Duncan, do you play PUBG? I don't even know what that is. Is it a computer game? It probably is. No, unfortunately, I don't play PUBG. I hope it's nothing rude. Hello, Marina. The daffodils must be removed because they are dried up, perhaps. I don't know what Steve is doing. I don't know what he's doing. He's down there now. A few moments ago, he was at the back of the house, and now he's there. There he is. Hello, Mr. Steve. There is Steve going by. Did you see him? He gave a little wave then. Well, I'm hoping that Mr. Steve will put the daffodils somewhere else, because during the springtime, I love watching the daffodils. I love it. Hello. What is the difference between my family is and my family are? Generally speaking, we normally use my family is. However, we can also say family are if they are doing something. My family is at home. My family is at home. So that is where they are. My family is at home. My family are coming over. So the group of them are doing something. If they are in a position or a place, is. So my family is at home. My family is at home. My family are coming over tomorrow. My family are coming over. So we are using that as the whole group. Maybe you are talking about the religion of your family. My family is Catholic. My family is Christian. My family is anything you want. So we are talking about what they are. Hello, Anna. Which room is this? Has this amazing window? Yes, I'm in my lounge at the moment. So this is where I normally sit when I'm relaxing. Hello, TS as well. Nice to see you here as well. What does daffodils mean? Daffodils are a beautiful flower. It is a flower that comes out in the springtime here in the spring. I don't know if I understand. Is Steve planting the same daffodils in another place? Maybe he is finding room for other plants. Well, I have a feeling that Steve is going to move some of the plants to where he is digging. So let's have another look outside. Let's see if we can work out what Mr. Steve is up to. What are you actually doing there, Steve? Even I am trying to work out what Steve is doing. I think, yes, I think Steve is actually moving the daffodils, and I think he is going to put some other flowers there instead. Yes, I think so. So what Steve is doing, he's taking the daffodils away. However, I think he is going to put some other flowers in instead. So we will have to wait and see. I wonder what Steve is going to do next. I am really intrigued. I'll be honest with you. I am very intrigued to find out what Steve is going to do with those daffodils. So now he is digging up the daffodils. But where are they going? Where is Mr. Steve taking those plants? I might have to go outside and find out. What is he doing? It looks like he's destroying those plants. I don't think he's helping those plants. It looks like he's destroying them. I think we will have to wait and see what he does next, because I have no idea. I don't have any idea what Mr. Steve is doing at the moment. Apparently, PUBG is one of the Battle Royale games. Please give it a try. I don't play computer games. I really don't. I can't remember the last time I played a computer game. It might be 20 years ago. Amit asks, what is the difference between cock-up and fiasco? Well, fiasco is just something that is going wrong, normally involving lots of people. A fiasco, chaos, confusion. Maybe something is going wrong on a very large scale. And then we have cock-up, which means mistake. You make a mistake. Or maybe you make a foolish mistake. You make a mistake. You make a cock-up. Fiasco is normally something that is very chaotic, or maybe something has been done wrong that causes a lot of chaos. There is a fiasco. A fiasco. There is lots of confusion. People don't know what is happening. Lots of confusion all over the place. So I hope that answers your question. Maybe Mr. Steve wants to make a vegetable garden. I know the answer to that question already, and I know the answer is no. We've already talked about that. Mr. Steve and myself have decided that we are not going to grow vegetables because it would be too difficult. So maybe we are being a little bit lazy there. Hello, Marina. The daffodil bulb must be removed from the ground and put in another place until next season. To be honest with you, we never do that. We never take the daffodils out of the ground. We leave them there, and then the following year they will come up again. So I'm really surprised that Steve has decided to move those flowers. Now I want to know why. I want to find out why. I am going to investigate the case of the missing daffodils. Francesca, hello to you. Also, Gulsur, nice to see you as well. Hello also, Lena. I hope Mr. Steve will find some gold over there. Unfortunately, here in Shropshire, we don't have any gold mines. There are some coal mines, and there are some slate mines. But unfortunately, around where I live, sadly, there are no gold mines. I'm sorry about that. No, we don't grow any vegetables in the garden. We've thought about it, but we don't actually do it. Anna Pika is here. Hello, Anna Pika. What is wrong? Has something happened? Anna Rita, in this time I am not working and I have a little issue with my health. Anna Pika, can I wish you speedy recovery, whatever it is? I hope it's nothing too serious. And I'm sorry to hear that you're not working at the moment. Many people are in a terrible situation. And that is one of the reasons why people are finding other things to do during this time. There are so many people at the moment who cannot go to work. It is a very strange period of time. I'm sure you will agree with me. Hello to Hamid Reza. When British people say stop by, and when do they say go by? Well, stop by, if you stop by, it means you go somewhere and stay for a while. So you stop by. If you go by, then it means you are passing something. So you pass from one place to another. You go by. So a few moments ago, Mr. Steve, we saw him go by the window. However, if he came to the window and said hello, he would have stopped by. So you stop by. Yes, hello. I thought I would stop by and say hello. If you go by, it means you pass. You pass. You go past. I hope that answers your question. Adrian is here. Hello, Adrian Florman again. It would be a good idea to use this land to grow various vegetables like pumpkins for Halloween. They are very easy to grow. We have thought about growing vegetables, especially things like potatoes. A lot of people in this country have part of their garden where they grow vegetables. Also, maybe they have an area of land that they rent from the local council. And on that land, they can actually grow all sorts of things. Potatoes, very common. Some people grow potatoes. Some people grow lettuce. Some people like to grow beans, runner beans. Another very popular type of vegetable. Mr. Duncan, give me some good advice that I can be the best in English. By the way, I love you. Partridge Aves. Well, to be the best in English, you have to do it. You have to practice it. You have to get to know the English language. You have to understand. Also, you have to understand yourself as well. So learning is actually about many different things. You are learning how to listen, you are learning how to read, you are learning how to speak, and also you are learning how to understand as well, up here in your brain. Hello, Anna. Anna Rodriguez. Here in Brazil, so many people are not concerned about the situation we are living. They are not concerned about the situation we are living in around the world. That's so sad because so many Brazilians don't believe in, or they don't believe that it will hit Brazil. Now, I saw something yesterday, and it was a news item about Brazil, and they were talking about the many people who've been affected, and they were showing some of the places where they are having to bury those who have died. The same thing happened also in the USA. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. So in New York City, an area that is being put aside for burying the people who've been affected by the disease and who have sadly died from the disease. So yes, some horrific stories and also some terrible pictures coming from around the world. And here in the UK, we still have a lot of people affected. There are still many people dying every day here in the UK. And I suppose the advice is the same advice that many people have been giving. Stay indoors, stay away from people, keep that safe social distancing, definitely. And wash your hands. Don't forget to wash your hands. Helena, happy birthday. Oh, that's nice. Let's have something positive. Yeah. Helena, happy birthday to Mizuki. I hope you enjoy your special day. That's nice. I like that. Something positive. Mr. Duncan, what is the light behind you? You mean there? That actually is the light that is in front of me. So what you can see behind me there is the light reflection. So that there is actually the reflection of the light that is in front of me. But if I stand in front of it, then of course you can't see it. I did that on purpose, you see. That is how you set up your lights, so you can't see the reflection in the glass. So you put your lights in a certain position, so when you stand in front of the lights, they are behind you. It's a little trick that I learned. Hello, Noemi. I am so sorry because of all of this. I have read that the health minister is going to give up his job. Really? Is that also in Brazil? My goodness. Incredible. Things are happening every day, and many of these things we can't control, unfortunately. Christina. Hello, Christina. Some very sad news. A famous writer sadly has gone. Sepulveda has gone. Very sad news. We have lost some famous people here in the UK to the very same thing. So yes, it's a terrible time. They were talking last night about how long this will go on for. Some people seem to think that we will have to keep our distance for maybe another year or maybe 2 years. What? So here in the UK, we have just extended the lockdown for 3 more weeks, as I said on Monday. So last Monday, I actually told you this. And yesterday, the government officially announced it. So we will be on lockdown here in the UK until at least the 7th of May. So we might be doing this for another month or maybe another 2 months. Very strange. Mizuki says, Mr. Duncan, my birthday party is a small party and only a few people have come due to... So it is just a small cake and a small gathering with my family, and it makes me happy. Well, as long as you're happy and as long as you have a happy day on your birthday, that is all that matters. Mika, oh, this is interesting. I didn't mention this earlier. Mika says, I have got some seeds of tomatoes. So it sounds as if, Mika, you are going to grow some tomatoes. Another popular vegetable that people grow here in the UK. So a lot of people like to grow tomatoes in their greenhouse, or you might know it as a glass house. So a glass house is a great place to grow things like tomatoes because they need a lot of heat, a lot of moisture, and they tend to grow very well when it is humid. So yes, the tomato is a very popular thing that people grow here in the UK. You are right. Anna, yesterday, Louis Sepulveda, or Vida, a Chilean writer, died because of that thing. Very sad news. We are losing lots of people. I am also concerned about my own mother, who is now in lockdown, being cared for. Unfortunately, I can't go to see her. We are not allowed to go and see our relatives who are being cared for. So unfortunately, I can't see my mother, and Well, to be honest with you, I'm not very happy about the situation at all. Especially here in the UK at the moment, many care homes, many places where elderly people are being looked after, are being affected. They are being badly affected by the current situation. Hi, Mr. Duncan from Peru. Joshua. Nice to see you here, Joshua. Welcome. Hello, beautiful Duncan, says Smart. I'm not sure about beautiful, but thank you anyway for the compliment. That's very kind of you. Shall we see if Steve is back? Let's have a look. What is Mr. Steve up to at the moment? This is one of the things we will be doing today. We are going to be watching Steve in the garden. So what is he doing? I was very interested to find out what Mr. Steve is doing with the daffodils. He was digging lots of flowers out of the ground. And I don't know why. Irene says, this morning I found a robin. Oh, this is sad news as well. This morning I found a robin that was not too good. And finally he died in my hand. Poor little bird. I love robins and other birds too. That's sad to hear that, Irene. A little robin. I love robins very much, and maybe a cat attacked the robin. I'm just trying to think about what might have happened. Perhaps the robin was attacked by a cat, or maybe another bird. Yes, maybe. So there is Steve. Wow. Come on, Steve. Wow, he's looking great now. Look at that. He's really starting to break into a sweat. He's using his fork. So remember yesterday I was playing with Mr. Steve's fork. And there now you can see that Steve is loosening the ground. He is making the ground loose so he can level it out. He can level out the dirt. How much do you pay Mr. Steve to do the gardening? He does it for free because he loves doing it so much. He loves doing the garden so much he does it for free. Flower says, we will be in lockdown until the 11th of May. So very similar to the UK. And they have said that schools will be reopened and many parents are scared of letting their children go to school. I can imagine why. I think I would be in the same situation if I was a parent. If I was a parent, I would also be a little worried about sending my child or children back to school. I must be honest with you. I would be feeling a little worried, to say the least. We think Mr. Steve is digging for gold. Maybe. I don't think he is, though. Hello, Kimberly. Kimberly Harper. Hello to you. You have a sad face. I don't know why. Could you please tell me why you have a sad face? I wonder why. I am very interested to find out. Why do you have a sad face? Why do you look so glum today? Maybe staying here for a while will cheer you up. I really hope so. By the way, if you want to have live captions, you can. You can have live captions. All you have to do is press C on your keyboard and you will have live captions. So don't put C on the live chat. All you have to do is press your keyboard and then you will have live captions. Wow, it's like magic. It really is. We think Mr. Steve is working too much today. His back will ache tonight. Can I tell you, yesterday night, Steve was complaining because he said he was aching. And really, to be honest, yesterday, he didn't do much work yesterday. So I don't know why he was aching yesterday. I don't know why Mr. Steve was aching yesterday. I don't know why. But today I think he will be aching later on because he is very busy in the garden. You could be in touch with your mother with FaceTime and she would be glad to be able to see you. Unfortunately, and this is another problem, this is another thing that is slightly annoying. Unfortunately, where my mother is being taken care of is far away from any mobile phone signal. So it is in a very strange place where there is no mobile phone connection. The connection is not very good. So unfortunately, I can't even use FaceTime to talk to my mum. This just makes things even more frustrating, as you can probably imagine. I'm not feeling very good about that situation at the moment. Mr. Steve is changing the garden and working hard, but I think tonight he will be feeling very tired, exhausted, tired out. Maybe. Hello to Lily. Hello, Lily. Nice to see you here as well. So all you have to do is press C on your keyboard. So don't enter C on the live chat. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is press C on your keyboard. Hello, Flower. What cheers me up in this lockdown is chocolate. Oh. And Mr. Duncan. Oh, that's very kind of you to say so. So you like to enjoy watching me and also you like to enjoy eating chocolate at the same time. I think that's a good one. Yes, great. I don't think that's a bad idea. Hello also to Christina. Yes, the word is backache. It is a great word actually, the word ache. Ache. A-C-H-E. Ache. It is a type of pain that you experience in a certain part of your body. Maybe your shoulder will ache after you've been doing a lot of work. Maybe your neck will ache if you've been sitting in front of your computer for too long. If you've been sitting in a chair, maybe sitting in front of your computer in a chair, you might find that your back aches. Backache. Please, can you give Mr. Duncan a thumbs up? Oh yes, if you want to, you can give me a nice thumbs up. Beep, 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 beep. Hello also to Alisa. Nice to see you back again as well. Are there any worms in your garden? Asks Ong Trum. There are lots of insects in the garden. Worms, woodlice, lots of crawly creatures. And quite often, if Mr. Steve goes outside and he starts digging, you will find lots of birds will come down and they will all start pecking at the insects. Especially at this time of year, because many of the birds are now preparing to raise their young. So this morning I noticed at the back of my house there are lots of birds flying around and they are all collecting pieces of twig, branches, moss. They are collecting them in their beaks. So many birds at the moment are building nests and they are preparing to lay their eggs and raise their young. Hello to Ong Trum again. Salvatore. Being forced to keep your social distance in a country like Italy where people are in contact with other people is in our genes. I think this is one of the things I've noticed. In certain countries, people like to show affection to other people. So I've noticed with certain people or certain nationalities, you might find that people are more keen or more interested to hug or hold someone. So maybe when people meet in the street, maybe they will hold or hug, or maybe they will kiss each other on the cheek. So I think in certain cultures, close contact is actually a very important part of their culture. I think so. So maybe in Italy, maybe people like having close contact with other people. Maybe when they meet or greet, maybe when they meet their friend in the street, they will give them a big hug and maybe a little kiss on the cheek. However, during these strange times, it might be seen as not a bad or not a good idea. It might be seen as a bad idea. Noemi, you have a beautiful view from your windows in your house. It's not too bad today, even though the weather isn't very good outside. It's really quite windy. You can't really see it, but the wind behind me is blowing the trees everywhere. And Mr. Steve is taking advantage of the fact that I'm not outside. So he's quite happy because I'm not outside disturbing his work. So instead I can stay in the house and Mr. Steve can carry on doing his work as well. In my garden there are lots of grasshoppers. I hate them. Hello, Emanuela. Grasshoppers. We do have grasshoppers here as well. Very small ones. Normally they are green in colour. So yes, we do have a lot of grasshoppers here in the UK as well. They're very small and sometimes you can hear them in the grass making their little noise. A little noise like that. Emanuela, yes, when we meet others, we do use the hug and we do kiss on the cheek. So yes, that might be one of the reasons why in Italy people have been more affected by this particular thing. People are more, they are used to having close contact with other people, close social contact. But the same thing happens here in the UK when people meet each other. Quite often we will hug someone or maybe we will shake their hand as a way of showing respect or as a way of being polite. We will often shake another person's hand. Alisa says, a flock of swallows live in my grandpa's house. Oh, I love the swallows. You are very lucky there. I hope you spend lots of time watching the swallows because they build these beautiful nests and then they come out and they fly around. And I think they are one of the most active birds that I've ever seen. They really are very active when they are flying. They go crazy when they are flying around. I love swallows very much. Valerio is here. Hello, Valerio. Nice to see you here as well. I have been with you for nearly 1 hour already. Can you believe it? I've been with you for nearly 1 hour already. Hello, Mika. Do you ever see the mole in your garden? Sometimes we see the hills that they make. So quite often the mole will stay underground, but sometimes they will dig under the grass and then all of the dirt will come up. So many people here in the UK do not like moles. They find them very annoying. Some people actually have people that will come to their house and they will kill the moles. I don't like that. So some people don't like moles at all. Anna Pika says, the grasshoppers always jump on me and make me scared. Can I just tell you something? Mr. Steve caught a huge spider last night upstairs. He came down with this huge spider. It was massive. It was this great big black spider. Huge. So Steve put it outside. Mr. Duncan, do the words wisdom and sagacity have the same word, have the same meaning? When we think of wisdom, we often think of experience that we've had, experience that we've gained, things that we've learnt as we've gone through life. So not necessarily things that we've learnt in school. Quite often we see wisdom as something that we learn as we go through life, just from experience. So all of the experiences that come from the things you do when you are not learning. Does that make sense? So you can actually learn things when you are not even trying to learn things. So I often see wisdom as something that you learn as you go along. Some people say wisdom comes to those who are older. We often see elderly people as wise. They often give very good advice. Salvatore, hello Salvatore, I am doing my exercises. I am listening to you and doing my exercise at the same time. That's good. So maybe you are on your treadmill. Maybe you are lifting some weights above your head. If you are, I hope you are enjoying your exercise. Keep fit, stay healthy, especially during this strange period of time. Are you talking about the little animal? When I say the little animal, do you mean the mole? Mole. So the word mole can mean a little animal that lives underground, and they normally have very large hands. I always think that moles look as if they have very big hands because they use them when they are moving underground. So when they are moving around underground, they will use their very large hands to dig and burrow. And then sometimes they will come up from the ground and they will make a huge mess on your grass. And a lot of people get very angry about that. I am going to have a little break. I'm going to drink some water. Whilst we do that, we are going to have a look at one of my full English lessons. And this is one of my favourite full English lessons, one of my early full English lessons. So this is an excerpt from full English number 3. And this is a special one when I was outside burning some rubbish. And then we will be back live. Can you see what I'm doing today? I'm preparing to light a fire. I have some old wood and garden debris to dispose of. To start a fire, you need some dry material that will light easily. Paper is the most common material used, or small pieces of wood will also do the job. The material used to start a fire is called kindling. You use kindling to start the fire. Kindling establishes the fire. There is also the word kindle, which means to start a fire. Kindling is a noun, while kindle is a verb. I will use a match to start the fire. I will strike the match and light the paper. This will start the fire. The paper will ignite. The word ignite comes from the Latin word for fire. We sometimes use the word pyro to describe something related to fire. For example, a person who is addicted to starting fires can be called a pyromaniac. The most obvious parts of a fire are the flames and smoke. Can you see the flames? The movement of the flames cannot be predicted. Flames move randomly. We can use the word lick to describe the movement of a fire's flame. The flames licked around the doorframe. A flame flickers. We can describe the flame on a candle as a flickering flame. A flame can shimmer, flicker, glow, dance. The fire I'm lighting today will be safely contained. This container is called an incinerator. You burn things in an incinerator. The inside of the incinerator will become very hot. To keep the fire under control, I must put this lid on it. Now the fire will burn steadily and remain safe. The small hole in the centre of the lid allows the smoke to escape in a controlled way, just like the chimney on a house would. Fires are fun to watch, but they can also be very dangerous, especially if they get out of control. After the fire has gone out, there is normally some debris left. This grey-looking substance is called ash. This is all that is left of what was burned. You can also put out a fire using water. This action can be described as extinguish. You extinguish the fire. You put the fire out. You have extinguished the flames. The fire has been put out. Here in the UK, we have a tradition that involves lighting fires. Each year on November the 5th, people light large bonfires to commemorate the capture of a group of men who were plotting to blow up the Houses of Parliament and kill the then King of England in 1605. Parliament was, and still is, the meeting place of the British government. The plot, however, was foiled when Parliament officials discovered one of the plotters, a man named Guy Fawkes, guarding the gunpowder. This event became known as the Gunpowder Plot. The celebrations take place every November 5th. It is known as Guy Fawkes Night. Large bonfires are lit and life-size effigies of Guy Fawkes are burnt on the fires. Fireworks are also let off, and quite often food such as baked potatoes are eaten. There is a rhyme that goes with this event too, which begins, Remember, remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. And there it was, one of my full English lessons, one of my favourite full English lessons. A very simple subject, but I hope it was interesting anyway. Looking at words connected with fire, flames, and also the special festival of Guy Fawkes Night that we always celebrate every year here in the UK on November the 5th. Yes, we are here now, as live can be on a Friday. I hope you are feeling okay. I hope you are good and happy. Yesterday I was asked about a certain word, and I'm going to mention these words now. There are some words that we can use, and in this particular sense, these are words that sometimes have an opposite meaning. However, sometimes they have a similar meaning. So you will see what I mean in a moment. I will show you what these words are. First of all, we have the word regular and also the word irregular. So we have the word regular and irregular. You can see here that these two words look very similar. However, they are opposites. Regular is something that is usual, something that is common, something that has no faults, or maybe something that you see quite often, a regular thing. Irregular is something that is the opposite. So in this sense, regular and irregular are the opposites. Something that is usual, something that has no flaws, something that is of an even shape is regular. Irregular is the opposite. It is the opposite word. So it means something that is not usual, something that does not look the right shape, something that has a strange appearance as far as its shape is concerned. Regular and irregular. Two words that can be used, and they are both opposites. However, here we go. And this is the word that I was asked yesterday to talk about. So we have the words regardless and irregardless. So we have the words regardless and irregardless. And the strange thing about these words is they mean the same thing. So when we say regardless, or if we say irregardless, they actually have the same meaning. And this can cause confusion for many people. Even native speakers of English sometimes make the mistake of assuming that these words are opposites. So regardless, it means leaving out things. If you are regardless, it means you are ignoring certain things. You are leaving certain things out. You are not involving something. Regardless, you are putting something aside. Irregardless has the same meaning. Even though they are different words, they actually have the same meaning. And this is one of the reasons why sometimes the English language can be very confusing, even for those who use it as their first language. It can cause confusion. Hello to Tin Dang Xuan. Hello to you. Where are you watching at the moment? For those who've just joined me, my name is Duncan. I teach English and I'm with you every day during this period of time. There are a lot of people who are not at school, a lot of people who are not at work, a lot of people who have nothing to do. So I thought, why don't I do a live stream every day? And then we can share our experiences of all of this together. Does that sound like a good idea? I hope so. Hello, Luis Mendez. Hi, Luis. Nice to see you here today. I am in the house. Unfortunately, I am in the house because the weather isn't very good. It is so windy outside. There is a very strong wind. In fact, I can hear it now blowing past the window. So, yes, it is very windy today outside. Shirley, Germany. Hello, Shirley. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Today I brought a lot of lavender. Beautiful. Very colourful and also very aromatic. I bought a lot of lavender. This plant is very resistant and also enchants the garden with its perfume and beautiful colour. The bees love it. And you? Yes, I love it as well. Very nice. We have some lovely heather in the garden and it has this beautiful sweet aroma. Very gorgeous. So I hope you enjoy your lavender, and I also hope all of the bees and all of the visitors, if you have any other visitors to your house, such as birds, I hope they also enjoy the beautiful colour of your lavender in the garden. At this time of year, you might notice behind me there is a lot of green appearing behind me. So at this time of year, lots of the leaves are now coming out on the trees. You will notice behind me over there, you can see there behind me, there is a large tree. That particular tree is a silver birch. And over the past 2 days, all of the leaves have come out on that tree. It's incredible. So during the past 2 days, suddenly that tree has its leaves. That is how fast it happens. So as soon as the leaves start to come out on the trees, it happens almost like magic. It seems to happen in a very short period of time. Another reason why I love nature very much. What is the time of the live stream? Asks Lily. I am with you every day from 2 p.m. UK time. I know I was a little bit late today, but unfortunately I had some problems with YouTube. It would not connect me to the live stream. Today I'm with you slightly later. Normally I am with you from 2 p.m. UK time. 2 p.m. UK time. That is when I will be with you again. So tomorrow I will be back with you from 2 p.m. as well, even though it is Saturday. Saturday tomorrow, but I will be with you. I might be in the studio or I might be standing here. I might be in the kitchen. Who knows? Who knows where I will be tomorrow? I have no idea. The wind is strong, but it is not a gale. No, it isn't that strong. However, it is still very blustery. So the wind will come suddenly, without warning. So we might describe the weather today. The wind outside today is very blustery. It is blowing strong and sudden, blustery. Hello also to Pathan. Hello, Pathan. Pathan's fun. You are looking nice in your multicoloured shirt. This is something I bought a while ago from one of Mr. Steve's work colleagues. I got this very cheap. Now it is designer. This is some designer label. I can't remember which one it is. I think it might be Paul Smith. Between you and me, I don't really know Paul Smith. I don't know their fashion brand, to be honest. But apparently this is a very expensive shirt. However, I got this very cheap because these were things that a shop was actually getting rid of. So I got this very cheap. I think it was £10. About a year ago I bought this. So I've had this quite a long time, this shirt. And it was very cheap. I like buying things that are cheap. Some people say, Mr. Duncan, you are very cheap. Maybe. Hello, Beatrice. I love the magic of spring in my garden when all of the plants suddenly have their leaves. They will have their leaves soon. I also love spring very much. I love spring, says Christina. I love how everything starts growing again when it's all been so grey. I think so. You have a wonderful contrast between those two periods of time. Between winter and spring, you have this wonderful contrast, the opposite. So the contrast between winter and spring is very vivid. Victory. Hello, what is the meaning of artificial? Something artificial is something that is not real. Maybe something that looks like a real thing, or maybe something that has been created completely unnaturally. So something that has not been created naturally in nature, it is artificial. For example, I suppose many different types of food these days have artificial flavours. So the flavours are not real flavours. They have been manufactured. They've been developed. So those are not real flavours. Something artificial. We can talk about artificial intelligence as well. So a computer. A computer is a form of artificial intelligence. To a degree, not completely. So we don't have robots walking around at the moment. We don't have robots walking around saying, hello, I am your English teacher. Would you like to watch me on your malfunction? That sort of thing. So no, we don't have robots at the moment. Fortunately, there are no robots coming along to take my place. Not yet, anyway. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Yassir is here. Thank you very much for joining me today. Mr. Duncan, can you make a lesson while Mr. Steve is cooking? Thank you, Ali. That is a good idea. So maybe one day next week, if Mr. Steve is in the kitchen, if he's going to do some cooking, perhaps I could have one of my cameras in the kitchen and we can watch him cooking. Does that sound like a good idea? Talking of Mr. Steve, this is what Steve was doing earlier. So here is Steve in the garden, and this is what he was doing earlier today. So this particular clip is actually recorded. So there is Steve in the garden. You can see that he's very busy. He's been in the garden. He's been in the garden all morning. Can I just say, Steve has been so busy. I can't begin to tell you how busy Steve has been. Incredible. Are you having a snack today? No, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to have a snack. Because yesterday I did something very greedy, something very rude, unfortunately. Mr. Steve is in the garden. And here is Mr. Steve now. I hope he's there. So this is what is happening outside now. And you can see that Mr. Steve has been very busy digging and clearing part of the garden. So he's been actually busy digging and turning over the land at the back of the house. And I must say, it looks rather nice. I think Steve has done a very good job. So can I have a round of applause for Mr. Steve for his busy work outside? Hooray! Hooray, Mr. Steve! Hooray! You have done very well. Unfortunately, as you can see, I don't know where Steve has gone. I think he has gone for a tea break. However, you can you see the blackbird? There is a blackbird wandering around, watching, trying to find some insects. So well done, Mr. Steve. You have done a very good job of that garden. Very good job. And yes, the blackbird is now picking off the insects. So all of the insects that Mr. Steve has revealed are now being picked off by the blackbird. I don't know what's happened to Steve. I think he's disappeared. Come on, Steve. You have some gardening to do. You are neglecting your duty. Ooh. It is very hard to work, but it's also a good one. A lot of humus. I will say one thing about the soil here. There is a lot of clay in the soil. So I remember when we had some work done on the garage, we had to have all of the floor taken up because there was a lot of damp. Water was coming into the garage. So we had all of the floor taken up. A huge job. But underneath, there was clay. It was real clay. So the sort of clay that you make your pottery from was actually under the house. So everything that this house sits on is actually clay. There is a lot of clay around here because of the type of rock and all of the formations that exist here. I like you, Mr. Duncan. Thank you, Mo Bouche. Thank you very much. Francesca is here. It is not a good idea to wear a tracksuit when you are working. I think that's a very good idea. A very good thought. Do you still run off for your Jaffa cakes, or is it still in your cupboard? Can I just say at the moment, I don't have any Jaffa cakes. I have none. So maybe later, perhaps I could go to the shops and see if they have any Jaffa cakes in stock. Because the reason why I have no Jaffa cakes is because the shops also have no Jaffa cakes. They have none. They've sold them all. I think people have been panic buying Jaffa cakes. Crazy time. Hello, Mr. Duncan. What is the difference between Duncan and drunken? I am happy to hear and see you. The difference between Duncan is, well, first of all, that's my name. It is a name, Duncan. Drunken. If a person is drunken, it means they have had too much alcohol and now they are intoxicated because they've had too much to drink, and so they are now a drunken man. So someone who is drunken is a person who's had too much alcohol. What is there in the wheelbarrow? I couldn't see what Mr. Steve was doing with the wheelbarrow. So the wheelbarrow is at the back of the house, but I don't know what Steve is doing. I still don't really know what he's up to be honest. After my live stream has finished, I will go outside and I will have a look and I will see what Steve is actually doing out there, because I'm very intrigued. Duncan, it seems like there is glass behind you. Yes, there is, because I'm in the house. So at the moment, I'm not outside. I'm actually in the house. You see? So I'm actually indoors. I'm not outside because the weather is not good today. It isn't very good. Mr. Duncan, may I call you boss? Says Fida Koa. If it makes you happy, you can. I've been called many things in my life, but I've never been called boss before. It might be the first time. There was a lot of clay under this house. I couldn't believe it. So when they started digging up the garage underneath this house, there is clay. So this whole house has been built on clay. Christina, no Jaffa cakes, no party. I agree with you. No party here, I'm afraid. There is no party because there is no Jaffa cake. No Jaffa cakes in the house at all. Very sad. Ari, hi Mr. Duncan. It is my first day at work after the Easter holiday. I am a bus driver. Can we say man-made instead of artificial? Yes, we can. Something that's artificial is man-made. It is not something that occurs in nature. So something that does not occur in nature, something that is artificial, something that is man-made. So you can use that as well. Hello, Alessandra. Mr. Duncan, what did you usually eat when you were in China? That is a big subject, a very big subject. I love Chinese food and I had lots of lovely food when I was in China. I know what you're going to say, and I'm sure you are thinking something very negative at the moment. And the answer to the question is no. That's all I'm saying. The answer to that question is no. When I was in China, I did try lots of different food. However, no, I didn't. I didn't do that. The thing that you want to ask me. I'm pretty sure you are all thinking the same thing. Feden is going. See you later, Feden. Have a nice weekend. Thank you for your time. You are welcome. Hello, Ernesto. I would rather call you Guru. Oh, thank you very much. English guru. I like that. Thank you very much. With clay, you can make some beautiful craft. Yes, you can make pottery. So maybe you can make a beautiful pot, or maybe a little cup, or perhaps a plate from clay. So the basic material used for making many different types of vases, pots, plates, cups, clay. And there is a lot of clay around here. Hello, Vitas. Can I ask you, Mr. Duncan, can we replace the word irregardless with independently? Yes, if we are removing ourselves from everything around us, if we are doing something without anyone else's help, I suppose we could say irregardless of what other people are doing. Or maybe you are doing something independently. So yes, you might use the word regardless of all of the help that has been offered. I am doing it myself. I have decided to do it all by myself, irregardless of all of the offers of help. T.S. Mr. Duncan is like Mr. Brown, who teaches English as a foreign language in Mind Your Language. Thank you very much. I take that as a compliment. I always used to like watching Mind Your Language because I found the characters very interesting. They were all very interesting characters, including the teacher, Mr. Brown. Zai or Zeraman says, you are looking awesome today. Thank you very much. I'm in the house, unfortunately. I'm not outside because the weather is pretty bad. It is so windy outside. So I decided to stay indoors. Hello, also Ong. What do you call an artificial leg for someone who has a disability? Maybe they have something that helps them to walk. Maybe they have one of their legs has been amputated or removed. So we can say an artificial leg. In fact, that is what we normally say, an artificial leg. So we don't normally say man-made leg. We normally say artificial leg. Another word we often use is prosthetic. Prosthetic. So a prosthetic means an artificial limb, something that is helping a person use their body or to have some sort of movement using an artificial limb. Prosthetic, something artificial. It is something that has been created or made, and it will help a person to have a more normal life or to be more active. So there are many organs. You can have an artificial heart valve. You can have something implanted into your heart. You can have a pacemaker, which is giving your heart stimulation. So the heart is real. However, sometimes the heart cannot beat at a regular rate. So you have to have a little machine, a little thing connected that will help your heart beat regularly. My uncle had a pacemaker. He had one fitted because he had an irregular heartbeat. Mr. Duncan, New Win Min. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Nice to see you. It is the first time I watch your live stream, and it is very good. Have you ever tried to eat pho or po in Vietnam? It is very good. I've never really tried Vietnamese food. I'll be honest with you. I am being honest. I've never tried Vietnamese food. Adrian wants to make a comment about Mr. Steve's food. Mr. Steve's flatjacks probably taste better than your Jaffa cakes because they are homemade. Mr. Steve has been so busy in the kitchen. We had the rest of the shepherd's pie. So Mr. Steve made a huge shepherd's pie. And last night we had the other half of the shepherd's pie. And also a few days ago, Steve made some lovely flapjacks. It is a type of cake. It is the same cake that nearly choked me the other day. Did you see? A couple of weeks ago, I was eating the flapjack and I started choking on the live stream. Ari says, Mr. Duncan, I have to drive now. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Ari. Ari Hassan, see you later, and I will catch you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Don't forget, same time, 2 p.m. UK time tomorrow. Ong Trum. Can you also use... Yes, you can make toys out of clay, I suppose. You can have clay toys. However, I would imagine they would be very fragile. They wouldn't be very strong. So I imagine a child would soon break something made of clay. Zereman. I don't like Chinese food, but I like Pakistani and Indian food. I like all types of food. I like Indian food. I don't like spicy food. I don't like it too hot. So I don't like food that is too spicy because it makes my stomach very bad. My stomach will start complaining and making strange noises. Thank you also, Ali. Thank you also, Anne Khan. Anna. Francesca Bovi. Everyone has a personal way of learning, and obviously you have to use what is best for you. Everyone has their own way of learning when you think about it. And this is something that I've mentioned in the past. Learning is a very personal thing because you are changing your attitude, you are changing the things that you know. Maybe something that you used to know, you now see in a different way. So I think learning is a very personal experience and a very personal journey. So everyone's experience of learning is different. And sometimes people will use very different methods as well, different ways of learning. Isn't it dangerous to build a house on clay? Says Husna. Well, fortunately around here, the ground is very solid. The clay is very solid. It is actually very solid ground. Hello, Noemi. My mother has English pottery and it is beautiful. I love the blue decoration. Oh, I see. So this is actually English pottery. There is a place not very far away from where I am now, very close to where I was born, a place called Stoke-on-Trent, and that is very famous for its pottery. So many, many years ago, they used to produce a lot of pottery, plates, dishes, vases, all sorts of things in Stoke-on-Trent. Not so much now, unfortunately, because a lot of the pottery is now made abroad, unfortunately. Ernesto says, it is Guru Duncan, definitely. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say. Very nice. What will Mr. Steve plant in the garden? Do you also like to plant spices or vegetables? I don't plant vegetables. We don't plant vegetables because of the time you have to spend taking care of the land and the garden. So to be honest with you, we've thought about it, but then we thought, no, probably not. However, I think Mr. Steve is going to put some roses by the fence. I think that is what he's going to do. So suddenly my memory is starting to work, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Steve said a couple of days ago, he said he was going to move some of the roses that are in the main part of the back garden. He's going to move some of them up to where he's working at the moment. Is he there at the moment? Let's have a look. Steve, are you still working out there, or are you having a tea break? So there is the place that Steve has been working all morning. He's been so busy, and yesterday, he was there yesterday, busily working away. He is a very busy bee at the moment, I think it is safe to say. So at the moment, Steve has been spending a lot of his time. So this is Mr. Steve's project. That's what I'm calling it. So this is Steve's latest project in the garden. And I think he's clearing all of that land. And I think he will also be putting some roses in the corner. But as you can see, there is no Mr. Steve at the moment. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. I just don't know what he's doing. I can see the birds. There are many blackbirds flying around looking for insects. However, there is no Mr. Steve. Where is Mr. Steve? I don't know where he is, to be honest. I don't know where he is. Maybe he's having a sleep. He's definitely not in the garden. I think he's upstairs. I think Steve is having a lie down. I think so. I think he's tired himself out. The birds are very clever because they are eating on the ground. It is very nice for them. It is at the moment because there are lots of insects, worms, woodlice, all sorts of insects are being turned over. So the birds are going crazy at the moment. 2 more words. These words are opposites. So this is where the English language can be very confusing. So there are 2 more words, respective and irrespective. So when we are having something that is respective, it is something that is connected to another thing. Or maybe we are talking about things that are connected in some way. Respective. And irrespective are things that are not referred to or not connected to that particular thing. So you can see that these 2 words are used quite often as opposites. Respective, irrespective. Included or involved, not involved. Separate. You are not including them in the group. You are pushing them aside. And then we have something that really does prove how confusing the English language is. This is the thing that confuses a lot of people about English. Sometimes you can have words that appear to be opposite words. However, they are the same. They have the same meaning. And here is a good example. So we have 2 words, flammable and inflammable. So there are 2 words, flammable and inflammable. A lot of people think that those words are opposites. However, they are not, because they mean the same thing. So this is a very confusing word. Flammable, and the other word is inflammable. But in fact, they mean the same thing. Something that is flammable means that it will catch fire very easily, or it will burn. Flammable. Inflammable means the same thing. So something that is inflammable is something that will burn very easily. It will catch fire very easily. A good example, I suppose, is petrol. Petrol is flammable. It is also inflammable, which means the same thing. So this is a very confusing one. And over the years, many people have been injured. They've had injuries caused by the confusion between these 2 words. So these days, we often use this word instead. So we don't use inflammable, we tend to use flammable. It is much easier to understand and there is less confusion. Flammable, inflammable. Don't forget, they have the same meaning. Something will catch fire, something will burn. It is a thing that will easily start to burn if you put a flame near it. Belarusia is going. Catch you later, Belarusia. Nice to see you here again today. I always enjoy your company, so I hope to see you tomorrow, and I hope everything is going well where you are. So the opposite would be fireproof. Yes, Sergio, something that cannot catch fire can be fireproof or flameproof. So the opposite of flammable is flameproof. Something will not catch fire. Or, of course, a lot of people will say non-flammable. Non-flammable. flammable. So you are using the prefix non to show that that thing is the opposite. Non-flammable means it will not catch fire easily, or maybe it won't catch fire at all. You can also have flame retardant. Flame retardant. If you have something that is flame retardant, it means it will not catch fire at all. So even if you try to set fire to it, if you try to make it burn, it won't, because it is flame retardant. It will keep the fire away. It will not catch fire. Thank you, Mr. Duncan. And now we will know about that danger. Yes, well, years and years ago, people used to think that those words were opposite, when in fact they mean the same thing. They meant the exact same thing. Inflammable, flammable. It's the same. It's the same. Thank you to Nguyen. Thank you, Unicarina. Thank you very much. I know it has been a very strange time. We are all going through a very weird time at the moment. However, we can spend our time together, and that's the reason why I am with you every day. I hope that we can share our thoughts, our ideas. Maybe you might be inspired by something you hear from myself or maybe someone else on the live chat. So we are all here to share this experience together. Adrian, roses smell fantastic, and it's a good idea. In Monaco, there is a very famous rose garden, La Roserie Princess Grace. So I would imagine that is Princess Grace Rose Garden, where there are more than 315 varieties of rose. Wow. And over 6,000 roses grow there. I imagine during the beautiful summer months, that place must be amazing. One of the good things about roses, of course, is they come out at different times of the year. So some roses will come out during the summer, but you can also have roses that will come out with their flowers during the winter months as well. Mr. Duncan, what is the name of the people who keep the flames away? Do you mean firemen or firefighters? So a person who puts out a fire, so if a fire starts in a building, you will call the fire engine. You will call the fire brigade. So many years ago we used to say the fire brigade. Nowadays we call them firefighters. So a firefighter is a person who will come and they will put your fire out. If your house is burning, they will come. Firefighter or fireman or firewoman, of course. Thank you very much. Vanessa. Hi, Mr. Duncan. I like you explaining the different words. Thank you, Vanessa. Can I just tell you, the first girl I ever kissed was called Vanessa. What? What do you mean I don't think so? Oh, okay. It was during my teenage years. We all do these things. Hello, Unicarina. I think you are doing the housework now. You are doing housework now? Zar, oh, hello. Zar Raymond says, I am a firefighter, Mr. Duncan. Brilliant job. You do the most amazing job. It is one of the things I could never do. If I saw a building on fire, I don't know what I would do besides call 999 and ask for the fire brigade or the firefighters. So yes, you are right. It is a great job, and I think you have to be very brave to do that job as well. You often put your life on the line. Wei Chen, thank you, Wei Chen. Nice to see you here today. Thank you very much. Thank you also to Vitas Fire Crew. Yes, you can also use the word fire crew. They often use that in the USA. So you might have a fire crew. Crew. A group of people who work together are a crew. Crew. Like on a ship. So on a ship you will have a crew as well. Thank you very much for your company. I am going in a moment. It is almost time to say goodbye. I hope you've enjoyed this very unusual live stream. I don't know what happened to Steve. He seems to have disappeared. Maybe he's gone for a walk. Maybe he's asleep on the bed. Maybe. Catch you later. Are you having some drink with Mr. Steve after this live stream? Yes, I am going to have a cup of tea. Also, I might have a nice sandwich as well because I'm feeling hungry. I only had a very small breakfast this morning with my morning tea. So, to be honest with you, I'm feeling slightly hungry at the moment. Thanks, Mr. Duncan, and we appreciate your... Oh, thank you, Mr. Duncan, for appreciating my profession. Thank you, Zaire. It's a great job. It's one of those jobs where you think, could I do that job? And my answer would be no. No, I couldn't. Thank you, Beatrice. Nice to see you here as well, Beatrice. Great. Thank you very much. We will have a look outside. Where is Mr. Steve? Is he outside at the moment? Let's have a look, shall we? Very interesting. Yes, I still don't know what Steve is doing out there. I don't know what he's trying to do. I have a feeling that he's going to move some of the plants over to the other side. So I think that's what's actually happening. Shirley says, please don't leave us. Well, I will be going in a moment or two because, well, first of all, I've been standing up for 2 hours talking to you. And also I feel a little bit hungry as well. I feel hungry, but there is no Mr. Steve. I don't know what Steve is doing. Where has he gone? Has anyone seen Mr. Steve? He seems to have disappeared. We have the case of the missing Mr. Steve. Where is he? We might need to call Sherlock Holmes to sort this one out. When will you be live tomorrow? Amritha, I will be with you tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK time. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK time. Check the time difference where you are. So the time will be different where you are. 2 p.m. UK time. Tomorrow, I will be back with you live. Will I be in the garden? Will I be in the house? Will I be in my studio? Find out tomorrow. Mr. Steve has left his wheelbarrow. He has abandoned his work. I don't know where he's gone. Mr. Steve has vanished. Has anyone seen Mr. Steve? He's disappeared. Very strange. I think Mr. Steve is sleeping. I agree with you. I think he is. I think Mr. Steve has fallen asleep somewhere. That's what I think. I'm going now. Thank you very much for your company. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. Something different, a little strange maybe, because I'm in the house and not outside. So I will be back with you tomorrow. Thanks for your lovely company. Thanks for your donations, by the way. Francisco, thank you very much for your lovely donation. For those who want to leave a donation for my work, there is the address on the screen right now. So that is the address for a donation if you want to leave a small donation, just to allow my work to continue forever and ever and ever, because I do all of this for free. So everything I do here on YouTube, it doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to pay for this. I do it all for free. But if you want to make a small donation, you are more than welcome to do so. Thank you very much in advance. Thanks a lot. That's it. I'm definitely off. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Yasir. Yes, Mr. Steve is having his siesta. I think so. That's good. That's my favourite, that is. Siesta. I think Mr. Steve is having his siesta. Catch you later. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK time. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English, saying thanks for watching me. Thanks for joining me today. And I hope to see you tomorrow from 2 p.m. UK time, right here on YouTube. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Until tomorrow, until the next time we meet, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and remember, you are not alone. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. It is coming our way. And of course, ta-ta for now.